What if you could automatically scrape and enrich local leads using information from Google, Instagram, and loads of other social media sites all in one go? No searching, no guesswork, just insights and output straight away. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that using Apify's local lead gen AI agent, as well as competitor analysis agent, to be able to get these personalized insights that you can generate a lead list from to either sell directly or to pass on to your clients. And we're going to get into exactly how much this costs per lead as well. So here's how the process works. We're going to come down the bottom. It's going to load up our screen here. You can add as many different industries as you want. We're going to do accountants today. We're then going to target perhaps London in the UK. We're going to say we want only English language results to come back. We're going to do 10 just to show you what we could do. And we want to make sure that they have a 4.5-star or higher review on Google Maps. We're going to send this off. It's going to start scraping all of the leads for us. We're then going to have it all added into Airtable, as you can see here. So we're now going through and getting all of the data for us. And we're going to be using Apify's local lead gen agent here, as you can see. We'll come down here. We see that we're then going to go through, store all of the leads that we get back into our Airtable table here, so that we can then go through and enrich them a little bit later on with some personalized subject lines and emails, which are really good for that specific client. And the reason they're so good, if we come back across, we're not only getting insights on those specific leads, but we're also getting insights on their competitors, as we can see here, so we can then compare them and provide that insight to a client. But if we come back across, we're also getting some market and competitor analysis around London in the UK. So for example, here, if we come back across, we can come back to competitor analysis. We've got all of the different elements in here from previous ones. We can also open up our strategic overview. It can present some high-level feedback. We've then got some opportunities that have been identified, so we can include them. We've also got market threats, so we can include that as well, if there's ways we can take advantage of that. And we've got a summary of the overall landscape. So if we wanted to fine-tune the messaging we're going to send to a client, we've got all of this ready to go. So if we come back across, we'll just wait for these two parts to go through, and I'll show you what's happening in the personalized emails. So we've now scraped all of the data, and as you can see here, we've got the 10 leads with so much data that we're going to be able to use to enrich and provide the insights for those personal emails and add value from day one, which is so key for some of these cold emails. If we come out of here, we've extracted some of the details, we've stored all of them. So if we come across and scrape leads, we can see here, we'll just get rid of the filter so we can see them by the actual date created. We've filtered them so they're earliest to latest, so we can see the ones coming back through. Now, if we come back across, as we can see here, we're now going and storing 178 related profiles. So if we come back across related profiles, we're getting all of these extra ones for free that we could use in the future as well. And we could retarget them to get some more insights or potential leads and conversions in the future. This is now going through, just confirming that our lead scraping has happened. So that's going to be in here, lead scraped. Yep, we're all good to go. If we come back across, it's now going to start our competitor analysis. So there we go, we've now got our competitor analysis back. So it's gone back and checked all of the different tax accountants that we have in London. As you can see here, so many different ones that we'll be able to use. Competitor rankings, we can include these as future potential leads as well. Lots and lots of information. But at the bottom here, as you can see, we've got the strategic market overview. So it's got some opportunities, we've got some threats, we've got the overall summary here as well. So we'll be able to use that in the future. And it's come through and added it into our Airtable as well. If we come across to our competitor analysis, we've got it all updated in here, so we can use it in the future. And it's all detailed out for the different competitors. So again, so many more than just those initial 10 leads that we asked for at the start. If we come out of here, what we'll be able to do is come to the start. I've set it up so it's now got a button. So all you need to do is press this, and then we're going to be able to go through and write the personalized emails. Now, what we're doing here is you need to come through an update where you've got your personal information about your company, your offer, and the rest is going to be completely tailored to you. We're going to be able to get all of the different data that we need, and then it's going to loop through one by one and populate all of our different fields in here for our personalized emailed insights that we'll be able to send to those people individually. And make sure to come across and check out this video here, which is a really good one that I've done around how we can actually leverage LinkedIn and scraping the data from there. So if you want to enrich it with maybe someone's first name, make it even more personal, you'll be able to do that as well. But with that said, let's come across. We're going to kick off our start of the process. So requests, we're going to do write an email. It's going to say workflow started. We'll be able to come to executions, and it's going to be running in the background. So I'll just wait for this to come back and I'll show you the end result. So there we go. It took about 2 minutes to complete. We can now copy to editor so we can see exactly what it is. If we come through here, again, I've not populated a specific business, so it's not completely tailored, but you can do that yourself. We're able to come through, extract all of the different records that we had. So in this case, we're starting off with the competitor analysis. We've then extracted those 10 leads associated with it, as well as the 170 related companies as well. We've then gone through one by one and generated a completely personalized email for them. Again, you get access to the resources and the prompt in here as well. So for example, we've got the name of the company. We've then got some really good information for that subject. Again, I'm not a cold email expert. I'm sure you can absolutely change this to what you need. We've got the email body in here as well, clearly calling out their number of followers on social media. We're saying what they've done in a local post as well. So we are actually referencing some more personal information. And as you can see here, lots and lots of insights that we've got for each specific customer. Now, if we come out of here, we can see that it's updated our enrichment. And if we come to scrape leads, we see that we've got the personalized email here and the personalized subject all done for us automatically. And that only took about 2 minutes. So as you can see here, definitely more tailored than just the generic, hi, I do this, which is really good. We'll get a much better open reply rate. And if we open up an example here, we can see that we've got Aiden, so one of the managers. I've been following your inspiring work as a creator, interviewer, real meaningful questions, recent engagement, 30,000 likes. So again, really positive on that specific personalization, lots of comments. We're coming through to where we've got some optimization, i.e. maybe an AI enhancement business, lots and lots of stuff in here. So again, you can completely change this to what you want, download it, import it into tools like Instantly, and you'll be off and running straight away for a really personalized cold email outreach. And you'll get access to all of this if you come across to our community in the link below, completely for free as part of your 7-day free trial. Come into Classroom, AI agents, and then we want to scroll down to where you find the Apify AI lead generation, and you'll have all of the different curl requests we're going to be running through today, all of the different prompts we use, and the blueprints at the bottom. So all you need to do is click on a blueprint, download it, come across to a new environment, do the 3 dots, import from file, and then import that JSON that you've downloaded, and it will load up for you all automatically. You just need to change your API keys, and it's all ready to go. But let's run through it and see how we can actually build it together today. So first things first, let's get rid of all of these different parts. So we're starting from a clean slate. So there we go. We've now got a clean slate. Let's jump into it. So we're going to come down to the bottom. We're going to do a form. The reason I've chosen this is just because it makes it nice and easy to be able to get those responses coming through. We're going to do personalized lead and then gen. We're going to add a couple of different elements. So first of all is the industry. You can keep this as text if you want. The reason I've put it as a drop-down list is because there's actually specific terms that you're able to use. You just need to go through and make sure that it's an authorized one. Otherwise, there'll be some errors. So for example, we can do accountant. We can come through and add some more. We can do gym. We can come through and do maybe dentist. And there's a good couple of options for us to choose from. We're also going to need to add in here the language. So we're going to say, what language should I use to search? I'm going to come down and then we just want to do a drop down list. I'm going to do English for this. But again, you could completely change this to what you want. And if you wanted to run this as a SaaS, you'd be able to do it as well. We're going to come down to the next one. We're going to do form element, and then we're going to say the locations. This is going to be London, UK, New York, USA, so that we can use it that way. The next one, we'll come down and we'll add another form in here. And we're going to do what is the maximum number of places that you can crawl. So this is going to be 20 in this use case. We're going to put that as a placeholder. And then we're just going to change this to be a number to make sure it's always coming through. The next one here, we're going to come down and we want the number of stars. So I'll just copy this across. And we need to have it as text because when we're going through and writing it, that's how it's actually being captured by Google Maps when we do the scraping. We're going to add another option and then paste that in there. We're going to do execute step. It's going to load our form up, and now we can actually go through and use it just as we did before. So we'll be able to come through, add all the information like we did before. We could do new and then York, USA. We could do 10 that we want to crawl, and we're going to do 4.5 stars. So now when we send this off, come back across, we've got all of that information captured, so we're going to be able to use it in the future. I'm going to pin this data just so we don't go through and use it more times. We're going to come out of here. We're going to then do an Airtable account. We're then going to do create a record. You need to make sure that you authenticate your account, come through to create new credentials. You want to add your access token to find that. Come across to your account in Airtable, down to your account. You then want to look for the Builders Hub. You then want to come across to where you've got all of the personal access tokens. Create a new token, give it a name. So for example, YT Apify, and then demo. We can add a scope in there, just go through it and add all of the different ones they've got at the moment and make it nice and easy. And then also add all of the resources. This is just going to help you access all of the different bases you've got versus having one unique one every single time. Copy your account, come back across, paste in there and do save, and it will go green and show you're all authenticated. Now we've already got one set up, so I'm just going to get rid of this because we don't need it for today. Now we'll be able to come down and choose our base. So in Airtable, what we're going to be able to see is the main tables that we've got. So we've got Apify AI leads is the entire base as they call it. And then we've got requests, scrape leads, competitor analysis, and related profiles for the 4 main tables. This is where we're going to be storing all of the different data in here nice and easily. So we'll come back across. We're going to choose our base. This is that Apify lead generation. We're then going to start off with our requests table. Again, you'll get access to the resources in here. All you'll need to do is come through if you're doing it from scratch, import from CSV, and it will set it up for you all automatically straight away. We're going to put across the account industry first. We're going to do lead scraped and competitor analysis and enrichment as in progress or not yet completed. We're going to put across the location, put across the language, put across the number of results, and put across the star rating. So now if we do execute step and come across, what we'll see is at the bottom here, any second now, we should get it populated to see actually where we've got New York to then be able to go off and do it in the future. So there we go, all good to go. The next part we're going to come across, we're then going to add that ID that we've just generated back into Airtable so we can reference it for some of the leads. So we're going to do update a record. We're going to choose exactly the same base as what we've just generated. So that's going to be Airtable AI leads. The ID that we're matching on is that ID from Airtable that we've just generated. We're going to get rid of the rest of these for now because all I want to do is make sure we're capturing that result ID in here so it's nice and easy to recall in the future. We're going to get rid of all of these, execute the step, and we'll see it's all updated in here nice and easily. If we come back across, what we're going to do now is a basic LLM just to make sure it's in the right format for us to be able to use. We're going to do define below, change to expression, and then pop this out. We're then going to paste our command in here, which is just from the left-hand side. We're going to take the location and the language because we need to make some updates to put it in the right format to send it off through Google Maps. We're going to do add prompt, expression, and pop this out. And then we're just going to paste our prompt in here. There we go. Now what we're going to be doing is changing, for example, London, UK or Prague, Czech Republic into the ISO 3166 alpha country code. So for example, city London, country code GB, and language EN for English. This is so that we can use it a bit later on in the Google Maps as well as other ones because it requires specific formats. I'm going to come through and add our OpenAI model in here because it's nice and cheap to run. We also have the option to choose some other ones. So for example, if I get rid of this and you wanted to use some of the local models, definitely check out the other video I've got on the channel that shows you how to do that. You're able to add that, or for example, OpenRouter gives you lots of different LLMs to choose from. We're going to add this one in here. We're going to keep it with mini so it's nice and cheap to run. We're then going to come back into here, change to require specific output because we're going to need to put it into a JSON structure so that we can use it nice and easily a little bit later on. So there we go. We've got city, country code, and language ready to go. So now if I do save and we execute this step, what we should see is that we get the output of New York, USA, and English as the correct one. So there we go, all ready to go. This is where in here, you can use the set node that we generated a little bit earlier on in the demo to come through and add any of your business details. You could put lead generation agency, and you could add in as much detail as you want there to get the output you're looking for in the future. We'll do save, and now we're going to get into the great part around actually getting the leads generated for us. So as mentioned, Apify have got their very own agents that we're able to use. If you want to find all the different ones available, come up to products, AI agents, and then what we want to do is browse tools for agents. You'll be able to do category, agents, developers, maintained by Apify, and you'll see all of the ones here that we're able to use. In today's video, we're going to use the lead generation agent and the competitive intelligence agents. As you can see here, they're very infrequently used, so this is a great way to get ahead of the competition because it's not as well known at the moment. I've already got them open, so we're going to come up to the top. We'll be able to see our local lead generation agent, and I'm just going to explain how all of these work. Now, across the two, what we're doing is we're having the lead request that comes in like we've just built. We're then going to have our Apify lead generation agent, our competitive and intelligence agent, and the personalized emails. Now, what they're doing is using sub-actors to enhance and enrich the information they're using. So, for example, Apify lead generation agent, that's using our Google search scraper, Instagram scraper, and contact details scraper. Our competitive intelligence agent is using Google Maps and social media on top of their internal agent or actor abilities to get the output we're looking for. Now, pricing's a little bit more complex than usual. So as you can see for each of these, I found that for us to get 10 results out, we're looking at around 30 cents per cost for the Apify lead generation agent. We're also looking at around 7 cents per competitive intelligent agent run. And this is because we're looking at 10 records, around 3 cents for the lead generation agent, and we only need to run the competitive intelligent agent once to get the output there. But what Apify have done as well is you also need to pay for the individual scrapers here as well to get the outputs. And that brings us on to the next part of the pricing. So as you can see here, per 10 results that we're requesting to come back, we're looking at around 2 cents for the Google search scraper, around 2 cents for the Instagram, and around 4 cents for our contact details scraper. If we come onto the competitive intelligence agent, we're looking at around 20 cents for Google Maps and around 16 cents for that social media analyzer. And we've got the full costs on the right hand side there. So what does it do for our cost per lead? Well, we're looking at around 80 cents, 90 cents for those 10 results to come back, or around 8 cents, 9 cents per lead that we've got back. So still very cost efficient and really critically highly personalized to get the insights that we need. So now that we understand the process and some of the costs, we'll be able to get into using them. So as mentioned, we're going to need our lead generation agent and we're going to need our competitive intelligent agent. Now you need to come down and make sure that you save these in your actual repository through Apify so that you can use them. For the costs of Apify, Apify is very cheap. You're looking at around $39 for a lot of the use cases. And as mentioned from the pricing point of view, this will use up your allowance, i.e. you can run it as much as possible until you hit that $39 limit, and then you'll be able to pay for more if you need it. So once you save these, you're going to have your actor ID at the top, and that's how we're going to use it. So I'm going to come back across to the community because we've got the curl requests all ready to go. All you need to do is copy this, come back across. We're going to add a new module. So we're going to do HTTP request, import from curl, paste it in there, and it will load up for you automatically. Now we're going to need to go through and make a few changes. So we're going to come a bit further down and need to add our API token. So to do that, come across to Apify, into the console. We're going to come down to our account on the left-hand side for settings, API integrations, and then you want to just generate a new key. So for example, here, that's all ready to go. We're going to come back across. We're going to paste it in there. And now we're authenticated to do this. Now we're using the run an actor because we want to send off the request, wait maybe 5 minutes or so before getting the response back. because otherwise if you try and run it and get the data back at the same time, I've just found that it times out. So if you come into here, what we can see is on runs, is it takes around 5 minutes to get that output. So just play around with it and increase or decrease it as you need it. We're going to come back across to our workflow, come down to here, and we're going to see that we've got it all ready to go. We just need to make a few changes. So in this case, we're then going to run this module here with our business details. We've got our actor ID in there all ready to go. So all we're going to do is come down and make sure to update these with the different information. So if we pull this across on the left-hand side, we're going to need to update the location. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to pull across where we've got our city. We're then going to get rid of the query. This is going to be the industry we're looking for. So we're going to come down to the on form submission and we're going to pull that across, and that's going to replace what we have in here originally. We're going to need to do the search language, so get rid of this, and then we're going to need to put across where we've got language in here so that we're in the correct format to get the output that we want. When we execute this, it's going to give us our request ID back. But key part is if we come down to where we've got the default dataset ID, that's what we're going to need to get our results back. So we're going to come out of here and do save. We're going to do a wait module in here, and that's where you just need to figure out how long your actors normally take to run, and then you'll be able to add that in here just so it doesn't time out and you can get the data back. So because we're running it in the background, I'm just going to leave it at 5 seconds. We're going to do our next one, which is HTTP, because we want to be able to get those records back. So we'll come back across to the community, copy this command here, come back into Apify and import the curl so that we can download it. We're going to need to make a few more changes, so I'm going to do execute step just to wait the 5 seconds. We're then going to come back into where we've got the request here and copy our API key and paste that in here. We're also going to need to update where it says token. So we'll just come back in here and copy the authorization and add that in here. There we go. Now we're going to need to add the dataset ID. So again, expression, and then open this up. We're going to put across on the left-hand side. We'll collapse some of these down so we can find it nice and easy. Dataset ID. We want to replace where it has dataset ID in the URL. We're going to come out of here. And then it's going to return all of the different items that it's captured. So we'll come back across. We see here that it's still running in the background. So I'm just going to wait for this to come back, and then we'll press test and it will give us the results back. So there we go. We've now got the results back. So if I come back across, we can do execute step and we should have 10 items. There we go. Right to the top that we'll be able to use to store and actually enhance in the future. Now there's lots of information in here. We've got external URLs, which is some information about the company. We've got follower account, channel account. We've got information around related profiles. We've got their latest Instagram videos, whatever it may be, their latest posts. There's loads of information, and critically, we've also got a score region here, which is really good because it will help us get some insights on whether this lead is probably suitable for our business or not. So we'll come out of here, we'll do save. Now for time, we're just going to come through and store these as is. I'm not going to include some of the other information like the external business address or doing the related profiles within it, just because we haven't got time for it. You'll still get access to it in the community though. We're going to come back across. We're going to do create a record. We're then going to come through and choose our table, so our Apify and then lead generation. We're going to come down and choose the scraped leads. We're going to have all the information in here. So we're going to put across where we've got the full name. We can do the biography. We can do the number of posts. So we'll collapse this down. We can find it a bit further down here. There we go, post count. We can find the scores. So this was right at the bottom around the results. So there we go, score. We can do score reason. We can do the contact details in here. So if we come a bit further up here, we've got the email, the phone, all of this information. Now I've already got that ready to go in the community. So we'll just do expression. We'll open this up and come across. We're going to copy, as you can see here, all the contact details. So copy and then paste in here, and it's going to populate it for us. The latest post we can do. So we'll open it up, come back across to the community, and then we're going to copy all of this again. This is just helping us speed up, get the outputs that we need. So we'll copy this, come back and paste in there. And now it's going to store that latest post that they've done on Instagram. You can add the video if you want, picture profile URL. So we can do the HD one. We can do the normal one if we wanted to. We can do verified status. So maybe you've got specific sales that you're doing around this or services you offer. You'll be able to add that in there. We can do business category. We can do recently joined. So we'll find that. We can add that in there. We'll do business account. So we can add that in there. Lots of different information that we can add in. So I'll go through and do this quickly. Great. So I've added that in. We're going to get rid of the personalized subject and the personalized email for now. We're going to collapse down this node though, because we want to come to where we've got create a record, and we're going to pull across that ID so we know what it relates to a bit later on. So now if I do execute step, what we should see is in Airtable, and we come across to scrape leads. We're now getting all of this information added in from New York for us to use a little bit later on. We'll come back across to where we've got our results, and as you can see here, 10 added in nice and easily. We'll do save. Now I'm going to come across and we're just going to do a merge one for now, and we're going to do combine. We're then going to come through and add all the details in here. So we're going to do matching fields, different names. We're going to add the company name in here, collapse this down, open the request details, and then we're also going to put across where we've got the full name. Now we'll come out of here. We're just going to connect it up to the bottom for node 2. We're going to do execute step, and as you can see here, we're now back together with all of the data. The reason for this is we're going to do split out. What we then want to do is split out all of the different related URLs. So as we can see here, the array. We're also going to add another field. So we're going to do include a selected field. And this is going to be our full name, so we know what it relates to. So now if we output this, we're going to see that we've got the full name and that data on that specific company. So we've got 329 items. We can do Airtable. We're then going to do create a record. We're going to add our Apify base in here again, as we've done for the other ones. We're going to come in here and then we're going to choose related profiles. We're going to add the full name in there. We're going to add the username as well. We're going to say the associated record is going to be this full name in here from the main company. We're going to add the ID as well. So we're just going to come out of here. We're going to find the created record and then pull that across. We're then going to come down to profile pic and we can add that as well. So there we go. If we add that in there, and then if we do execute step, what we'll see is if we come across to Airtable, is we're going to have all of these different rows being added. So we'll just refresh this. And if we come down the bottom, as we can see here, they're now going through and adding in all of the new rows for that specific company. So we'll just wait for this to finish. We're going to come back across and then we can go through, update the status and do the competitor analysis. So there we go. All of the responses back. And if we come through and do another Airtable module, we're going to update our main record in the research base. We'll do Apify, add that in there, and then come down to our requests. We're going to actually, where we've got our request ID, we're just going to change it so we've got the lead scrape status as yes. So we'll come down here and do leads scraped. We'll do execute step, and now we know that we finished the first part, which is all around scraping those leads. So there we go, we got all the results back. I did forget to come through and actually add an aggregator module beforehand. So we just want to put it all into a single field, because then instead of trying to execute it 329 times, it's only going to do it once. So if we get rid of this, what we'll be able to do is find the request ID, for example, in the first part, execute that step, and then it will do it much quicker because it's only doing it once to get that output. So there we go. That's the first part, which is around gathering the leads. Now it is key to know that this is a local lead generation tool. So definitely use it in a much more specific town or city center versus trying to use something big like New York, because you definitely won't get the same outputs and the same quality for using these for the personalized outreach. The next one we're going to be using is our competitive intelligence. This is going to give us some insights on that specific market. Again, we want to make it as specific as possible for that local insights on the local companies, local competitors, so it sounds really authentic for those companies you're reaching out to. So definitely not a New York, USA, but maybe a smaller town, maybe in New York somewhere that you're able to use. If we come back across to our flow, what we're going to be doing is coming down to our competitor analysis. So to do that, you want to pull down from the top. We're going to do HTTP request. We're going to come back across to our community. We've got the run actor for the intelligence model. So we'll copy this, come back across, import the curl in here, and then we'll be ready to go. We just need to make a few changes like the API token. So we're going to come out of here, come up the top, copy our bearer token, and then add that in here so it's all authenticated and ready to go. You need to make sure the actor ID that you've got here also matches up with the one from the competitor ID up the top so that you can use both of them together. If we come back across, we see here we've got all the information we need. We're just going to need to make some changes down here for the information on. So we're going to come back to the start. We're going to filter on some specific words, i.e. that industry that we're going after. We need to update the city as well. So that's going to be from our basic LLM chain here. We'll just move that across. We're going to need the country code as well. So we'll get rid of that and add it in here. We're going to put the language as just English. We'll add that in there. And then we're just going to come out at the top, copy this, and then paste in the bottom here as well, so that we've got both of the information ready to go. Again, we're going to be sending this off now, doing a wait module and getting our response back. The reason for this is if we come across, we can see that the runs take a couple of minutes to go through, so maybe 5 to 6 to 7 minutes. So we're just going to wait for that length of time before getting the response back. Otherwise, I find that it just times out in n8n. So if we come back across, we'll come out of here and do save. We're then going to put a wait module in here. I'm going to put it as just 5 seconds for now whilst we do our testing, but you'll just need to play around with that and find what works best for you. After that, we'll do the same, getting the results back. So we'll just come through and duplicate this result. We're going to connect that up there. So we're going to be able to get the data sets that we had from before, and we're already authenticated and ready to go. So there we go. We've now got our results back. So if I come across into here, we should be able to execute this step here. We've got all of the results back with our competitive analysis on the NYC tax and accounting firms. Lots of information here for the ranking, comparing top performers. Again, much better if we do this on a more local community, because we'll get some much more tailored insights than a big place like New York City, which has lots and lots of big top accounting firms that will be in there as well. All we need to do is come through. We're going to do Airtable. I'm going to create a record. We're then going to make sure that we add it all into our competitor analysis in here. So this is going to be really specific for our insights later on. We're going to come back across into here and add our Apify table. And then we're going to come down and choose our competitors. And then we're just going to pull all of it across. So we've got our competitor title, and then we're going to do the overall summary in here. Now for the rest, what we're going to do is actually come back to the community. We're going to copy this competitor analysis structure. We'll come back across to our AI agents. We did this competitor analysis first. So competitive battlegrounds. Sorry, this goes in the strategic overview. So we add that in there. We'll then come back for our opportunity. So we'll copy all of these, come back across and paste in there. We're then going to come back into here, get the market threats as well. So we're going to copy this, come back across and add it in here. So now it's going to be nice and formatted like bullet points. And that's one of the features I love about n8n is on the right hand side, we can see exactly what's going to be passed across. If we come out of here, so to add the request ID, come down to the create a record and pull that ID across just so it matches up. So we're going to paste our command in there, which is competitor analyze. The rankings, we're going to come across into here and copy this, come back across and paste into the rankings part. So now we've got all of the names listed out, which is really easy to read. And we've got the competitor rankings plus their description or the details, justifications on why they may be a top competitor. We've got the analysis aspect, so we can come into here, put it across on the left-hand side, close some of these down, and then we'll see here the analysis aspect. And then we can paste our command in there, which is just going to pull across the aspect name, performer, weak performer, and comparative notes. And we just do exactly the same for aspect 2 by coming in here, changing it so that it's 1. And we'll just go through and do exactly the same for where we've got 3 and 4. So we'll just open this up. And the reason that we're doing it one number behind what it shows is because the counter starts at 0 in n8n for us to go through and add values. So there we go, all added in. We can now do the same for the competitor matrix as well, which is in here. So this is all of the different information, positive, negatives, so how we can add value to that customer, i.e. what's a specific insight or maybe what the current competition is doing or isn't doing so that we can stand out in the market. We'll come to expression, open this up. We're then going to close this down some of the points in here so that we've got just this differentiator matrix. And again, we're pulling across competitor name plus the details, but we've got it all ready to go. So we'll just paste that in here. And then exactly the same as before, we just need to change this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on for the other aspects in here. So we'll do that quickly. So there we go, all added in. So now if we come out of here and do save, and we do execute this step, what it's going to be able to do for us is come through and store all of these records in our Airtable for us, so that we'll be able to use it a bit later on. And there we go, all added in. So if we come across, just refresh this, we should see a new entry at the bottom here, which is all ready to go and what we need. Now, if we come back across, we're getting into the personalization and ready to go a bit later on. So for this, we're going to do a webhook so that we can trigger, as we did a bit earlier on, for that button to actually personalize the emails. So you need a production URL. We're going to copy this. We're going to come across to Airtable, come across to requests, where it's got the personalized email. All you need to do is update it in here and do paste, do save, and it'll be ready to go to that new webhook address. So now if we come across and we do save, need to make sure it's active before you go through and test it. We're then going to come back across and do write an email. You should see that it's workflow started, which is great. That means it's all running. We'll come back across into here, into executions, and we should see one ready to go in the actual tab. So there we go. Now we've got all of the data ready to go. Once you've got this running, we can do a set node. The reason for this is because if we come into here, we can do personalized and then offer, and then we can come into here and we could say free 100 leads. And this is where we can make it really personalized by adding maybe our offer in here, any more information about our business, so we can use it for writing the emails. If we come out of here and do save, we're then going to actually run this to make sure that we've got it. We'll come across and do Airtable. We're going to do search for records. We're going to need our webhook from a bit earlier on. Now I'm going to start with the competitor analysis, and we're going to need a filter in here. So we're going to change this to request, but we're going to need to put it in some brackets, request and then ID. We'll come across to where we've got our Airtable. We need to match it with this column here. We'll come back across. We're then going to put across the record ID from the left. So now what we can do is if we do execute step, it should be able to pull back all of the information that we've got for that specific lead, industry, niche, whatever it is that we've analyzed. After this, we're going to go through and get some more information. We're going to do another Airtable node. We're going to do search for records. We're now going to come through and do our scrape leads. We use exactly the same formula as we had before. We'll paste that in there. If we do request all, we should be able to get all of the leads associated with that ID, i.e. the 10 back, for us to be able to use in the next step. We're also going to duplicate this and then pull it down, and we're going to change it. So it's going to have all of the affiliated or related profiles from a bit earlier on as well. So if we execute this, I think there was about 600 odd or something that we scraped across in its entirety. And there we go, we've got it back. Now if we come out of here and do save, we're going to add a code module in there quickly. Come back across to our classroom. Come back into where we have the AI agents. Come down to where we've got the code module here, copy all of this, come back across, paste in there and execute the step. What we're doing here is grouping those related profiles back with the name that we had a bit earlier on for that specific company. Now if we do save, we'll come do and have a merge node. We're going to pull this up to the top here, code as input 2, and then records as number 1. We're going to change this to combine. They've got different names. What we're going to do is have code 2, so that could be company name. We're going to need the search record, so we're just going to need to execute this step a bit before. So we'll just come out of here, execute step. There we go. Now we'll be able to just put across that search record ID from Airtable. We're going to come down the bottom and enrich input 1, i.e. enrich what we got from Airtable. Now, if we do execute step, we should get all of that information back, and we've still got only those 10 records that we want to use in this use case. Once we've done this, we're next going to come through and have a loop node, so we can go through each one and write that personalized email out to that customer. So we're going to add this across here, put it down, we'll do basic LLM chain. I'm just going to move this up a bit so we can use the space. There we go. We come back in here. I'm going to add our OpenAI module in here so it's nice and easy. We're also going to say that we need a specific output. We'll come back in here and then we're just going to trigger the node before just so that we can go through and see all the data that we need. We're going to do define below, put as expression, and open this up. We're then going to paste all this information in here, and we just need to make a few changes because we're going to need to come back to where we had all of the competitor information, as we can see in here. So the opportunities, we can add that in there, as well as all of these different strategic options. So if, for example, here, we can add the overall summary at the bottom. We can then add the threats in just above, so we can add that in there. We'll add opportunities as well in there. So now it's all ready to go for that specific company. We're going to need to add a prompt in here as well. So open this up in expression, come back to the community, come down the bottom and grab this prompt. I would recommend just copying and pasting this into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and just say exactly what your company is or the offer you're providing, so it's really tailored to you. If we come back across and paste in here, the only other thing we need to do is come back to this area of set node, remove this and put across. And this will make sure that that personalized offer you specified a bit earlier or more info about your company is going to be included in here. We'll do save, add a new output module, and we're going to do structured JSON. We're then going to paste it in here. So we want the name of that person we're trying to contact, a subject, as well as the email body. We're going to do save. We'll just see a quick output of what this looks like for one specific company. So as we can see here, it's going to come back on the right-hand side any second now. Again, this is really cost efficient to run, and it's going to be really personalized for those insights. So for example, here we've got a really good subject line, but critically, we've got lots of information about that company in here, which is really tailored to that specific individual to increase the likelihood of conversion. We're then going to do Airtable, and we're going to do update a record, because what we're going to do is take the search record ID. We're going to come through and add our base. Once we've done that, we'll put across the ID that we're matching on. We're going to get rid of the rest of this information because we only want to change two fields, which is that subject line and the actual information. So we only want to change the subject line, so we'll add that in there, and the email body. The rest we don't need to worry about. So now what we can do is execute the step, and we'll be able to see it go through for each of the leads that we've got to get the output and update it with that really specific insight. So for example here, like we saw a bit earlier, 249 likes on a recent post, lots of engagement. And this is where we're able to get a really good conversion rate because we're really specialized on that output, show we really know them, versus a really generic, hey, this is what I sell. This will help you get a much better conversion rate like we can see here. And play around with it. Find what works best for you on the messaging, the wording. There's loads of different people out there that show exactly how to do it. That's not what this video is about. It's more around how we can get that automated output so we can keep that cost per client really low. Now we had that one come back at the bottom. We'll come back across. We're going to do save in here, connect it back up the top. We're then going to do another merge node because we're going to need to make a few changes. So we're going to do combine, and then we'll do all possible combinations. We're going to have this as input 2, and then we're going to have our webhook as input 1. So now what we'll be able to do is save this, come through and just add one more Airtable node, not Airtop. We've got another video that covers that. Update a record, and then we're going to need to add our Apify table in here. We'll come down to where we had our requests, and we're just going to come through and then update this to say everything is complete. So enrich is complete, and these others if we haven't done so already. So we'll get rid of all of that. And then we're just going to need to come through, execute this merge node here. This is now going to go through and start updating all of these different leads with all of their different personalized outreach, which is so good to be able to get this so much data that's available to get those really good response rates. As you can see, they're going through in the background. updating them so they're all really good for that specific client. Again, we did a really big area in New York, but if you get a smaller town, maybe a bit more niche, we'll be able to get some really great personalized insights, competitors, how they've performed, all of this stuff. So you get a really good conversion rate over email or text or however you reach out to them. So there we go. We've now got all of them populated. So if we come back across, we should have that merge node ready to go. So we'll be able to come down and find where we've got some of the request ID. There we go. Add that in there. So now if we do execute step, it should go through and do it for us all automatically so that we see, and if we come across, that status will be all updated in here, nice and easily and ready to go. And if we just wait for this to come back, I think he may be going through making a few changes quickly just because we triggered it. So there we go. It's just finishing that last rerun quickly now. And if we come back into here, we should see that it updates that status any second now. So there we go. And if we come across, as we can see here, that enrich complete is all sorted. This has been one type of AI lead generation, but I really recommend checking out this video here, just around how you can get a much lower cost per lead, as well as using data from LinkedIn and other ones. There's loads of videos on the channel, and we've got lots more in the community. If you come out into the classroom, you'll see here that we've got AI agents, lots of resources, local AI, lots of master classes, and we provide one-on-one support as well if you need it. Stay tuned for more around AI agents, automation, and have a great day.